I pulled into the driveway just after 7 on a Wednesday evening. October darkness already settled over Evanston. 52 years old, and every business trip felt longer than the last. Milwaukee had been 3 days of client meetings and hotel coffee, and all I wanted was to see my family. "Lily, I'm home, sweetheart," I called out as I pushed through the front door, briefcase in hand. Silence. The house felt wrong. Not empty. I could hear the television murmuring from the living room, but hollow somehow. I dropped my briefcase by the stairs and walked toward the sound. Lily sat on the gray sectional, her math homework spread across the coffee table. But she wasn't working. She was just staring at the paper, her small hands flat on either side of it, shoulders slumped forward like she was carrying something heavy. "Hey, kiddo." I sat down next to her, close enough to see the dark circles under her eyes. "How was school?" "Fine," she mumbled without looking up. That word. I'd been hearing it for 2 weeks now, ever since before my Milwaukee trip. My bright-eyed, chatty 10-year-old who used to greet me with stories about her day, about Maya's new puppy or Mrs. Patterson's science experiments, she'd turned into this ghost of herself. I studied her face, pale skin, almost translucent. Her hair needed brushing. When had she stopped caring about her ponytail? "Did you finish your art project? The one with the watercolors?" "Not yet." "Want to show me what you have so far?" She shook her head, still not meeting my eyes. I glanced at the kitchen doorway, listening for Jessica. Usually she'd have dinner going by now, or at least be on a call in her home office, but there was nothing. "Where's Mom?" "Upstairs, working." Lily's voice was so quiet I barely heard her. I reached over and gently touched her forehead. No fever, but her skin felt clammy. "You feeling okay, sweetheart? You look tired." "I'm always tired." She finally looked at me, and what I saw in her eyes made my chest tighten. Confusion. Like she didn't quite know where she was or how she got there. "What do you mean, always tired?" She blinked slowly. "I don't know, I sleep a lot now. After school, I can't keep my eyes open, and when I wake up, everything feels fuzzy." "How long has this been happening?" "I don't remember." She rubbed her eyes. "Dad, can I go to bed? I'm really sleepy." It was 7:15 in the evening. She'd been home from school for 3 hours. "Did you eat dinner?" "Not hungry." I stood up, trying to keep the worry out of my voice. "Let me make you something small. Just some toast, okay?" She didn't answer, already curling up on the couch, pulling the throw blanket over herself. I went to the kitchen, moving on autopilot. Bread in the toaster, butter from the fridge. My hands were shaking slightly. This wasn't normal. Kids got tired, sure. Growth spurts, busy school days. But this was something else. The toast popped up. I buttered it, cut it into triangles the way Lily liked, brought it back to the living room. She was asleep. Not drowsy, not dozing, deeply, completely asleep, her breathing slow and heavy like she'd been out for hours. I set the plate down and stood there, watching my daughter sleep on the couch at 7:30 on a Wednesday night, and felt something cold settle in my stomach. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling while Jessica slept beside me. She'd come down around 8, kissed my cheek, asked about Milwaukee. I told her about the clients, the presentations, the usual work talk. She'd seemed distracted, checking her phone twice during our conversation. "Lily fell asleep on the couch again," I'd said. She's been doing that. Growing, I think. Kids need a lot of sleep." "Jess, she's sleeping 3-4 hours after school. That's not normal." "She's fine, David. You worry too much." Jessica had patted my arm and gone back to her laptop. Now, at 2:47 a.m., according to the alarm clock, I couldn't shake the image of Lily's pale face, those dark circles, the way she'd looked at me like she was seeing me through fog. I must have finally dozed off because the next thing I knew, I was jolting awake to a sound, crying. I sat up, disoriented. The clock read 3:23 a.m. Jessica stirred beside me but didn't wake. I slipped out of bed and into the hallway. Lily's door was cracked open, a sliver of light from her nightlight cutting across the carpet. I pushed it open slowly. She was sitting up in bed, her knees pulled to her chest, tears streaming down her face. "Lily." I crossed the room and sat on the edge of her bed. "Baby, what's wrong? Bad dream?" She threw her arms around my neck, and I felt her whole body trembling. Hey, it's okay. Daddy's here. I held her tight, one hand rubbing circles on her back the way I used to when she was little. Talk to me, sweetheart. What happened? I had a nightmare, she whispered against my shoulder. I was falling and I couldn't wake up. It was just a dream. You're safe now. But Dad, she pulled back to look at me, her eyes red and frightened. It feels like that when I'm awake too, like I'm falling, like everything's spinning and I can't stop it. My throat went dry. What do you mean? When does it feel like that? She bit her lip, hesitating. Her eyes darted toward the door, checking if anyone else was there. Lily. I kept my voice gentle but firm. You can tell me anything. You know that, right? She nodded, then whispered, The vitamins make me feel strange. Everything stopped. The house, the world, my heartbeat. What vitamins? The ones Mom gives me. Her voice was so small. She said they'll help me focus better at school. But Dad, every time I take one, I feel floaty, and then everything goes black. And when I wake up, I can't remember things right. My mind raced. Jessica had never mentioned vitamins, never told me she was giving Lily anything. How long has Mom been giving you these vitamins? Lily thought for a moment, her brow furrowed. Maybe 2 weeks, 3, I don't remember exactly. Time feels weird now. Where does Mom keep them? In the bathroom, the upstairs one, behind the mirror. I stood up, trying to keep my movements calm and controlled even though my pulse was hammering in my ears. Can you show me? Lily got out of bed, her hand finding mine. We walked down the hallway to the bathroom, both of us moving quietly past the master bedroom where Jessica slept. Lily pushed open the bathroom door and pointed to the medicine cabinet. I opened it. Behind the usual stuff, toothpaste, dental floss, Jessica's face cream, there was a plastic bottle I'd never seen before. White, generic, with a piece of masking tape stuck to the side. In Jessica's neat handwriting, Daily vitamins, take with breakfast. My hands were steady as I took it down and opened it. Small white tablets, oval-shaped, unmarked. I poured one into my palm and held it up to the light. No imprint, no brand marking, nothing. These are what Mom's been giving you? Lily nodded. She says one every morning, but sometimes, she trailed off. Sometimes what? Sometimes she gives me one even when it's not morning. Like last Saturday, when you went to the office. She said it would help me rest. I closed my eyes, trying to steady my breathing. When I opened them, Lily was watching me with those tired, confused eyes. Dad? Did I do something wrong? Is that why Mom's giving me medicine? No. I knelt down and took her hands. No, baby, you didn't do anything wrong. Not one single thing. I pulled her into a hug. You did exactly right by telling me. I'm so proud of you. Are you mad at Mom? I wasn't mad, I was terrified. I'm not mad at anyone, I lied. I just want to make sure you're healthy and safe, that's all. I tucked Lily back into bed, sat with her until she fell asleep again. Then I took the pill bottle back to the master bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at it. The label said, Daily vitamins. But vitamins didn't cause drowsiness, confusion, memory problems. Vitamins didn't make a 10-year-old girl sleep for 4 hours in the middle of the afternoon. I looked at Jessica, asleep on her side, her phone charging on the nightstand, her face peaceful in the darkness. 13 years of marriage, 10 years raising Lily together, late nights when Lily was a baby, walking the floors together, taking turns with feedings, family vacations, Christmas mornings, the way Jessica used to look at me across the dinner table and smile like I hung the moon. What the hell was in this bottle? I didn't sleep the rest of the night. At 6:00 a.m., the moment I knew the appointment line would open, I called Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Northwestern Memorial, appointments, how can I help you? I need to bring my daughter in today. It's urgent. What's the nature of the emergency, sir? I looked at the pill bottle in my hand. I think she's been given something. Medication. I need her tested. There was a pause. Hold, please. 2 minutes of hold music, then a different voice. This is Nurse Patterson. You said your daughter needs toxicology testing? Yes, she's 10. She's been given pills that are supposedly vitamins, but they're making her extremely drowsy and confused. I need to know what's in them. Can you bring her in at 8:30 this morning? Yes, thank you. I hung up and sat there for a moment, listening to the house wake up around me, water running in the bathroom, Jessica's alarm going off, then silencing. I couldn't tell her about the appointment. Not yet. Not until I knew what was in those pills. Jessica appeared in the doorway, already dressed in yoga pants and a sweater, her hair pulled back. She looked normal. Perfectly, completely normal. "Morning," she said, smiling. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep. Still on Milwaukee time, I guess." "Want me to make coffee?" "I'll get it. You have that presentation today, right?" "Yeah, this afternoon. Working from home this morning to prep." She walked over and kissed my forehead. "You okay? You look stressed." "Just tired." I forced a smile. "Long trip?" "Well, try to relax today. You deserve it." She squeezed my shoulder and headed downstairs. I waited until I heard her in the kitchen, then quietly went to Lily's room. She was still sleeping, her face peaceful now. I hated to wake her. "Lily," I whispered, gently shaking her shoulder. "Sweetie, we need to get up." Her eyes fluttered open, confused. "Dad, it's so early." "I know, baby. But we have a doctor's appointment this morning. Just a quick checkup." Fear flashed across her face. "Am I in trouble?" "No, sweetheart, no." I sat on her bed. "I just want to make sure you're healthy, that's all. Get dressed, okay? Wear something comfortable." She nodded slowly, still half asleep. Downstairs, I found Jessica in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone with her coffee. "Taking Lily to a dental checkup this morning," I said casually. "I forgot to mention it. Made the appointment weeks ago." Jessica barely looked up. "Oh, I forgot about that too. Thanks for handling it, honey." Too easy. She didn't ask where, didn't ask what time, didn't offer to come along, just went back to her phone, smiling at something on the screen. A text notification lit up her screen. "See you later," with a winking emoji. She swiped it away quickly, but not before I saw it. My chest tightened, but I kept my voice level. "We'll be back around 10. "Okay." "Have fun at the dentist, Lily," she called toward the stairs. Lily came down, dressed in jeans and her favorite purple hoodie. Jessica gave her a quick hug, and I watched Lily's body language, stiff, formal, like hugging a stranger. "Ready?" I asked Lily. She nodded, and we walked out to the car. As I backed out of the driveway, I glanced at the house. Jessica was in the kitchen window, already back on her phone, laughing at something. I gripped the steering wheel and drove toward Northwestern Memorial, that pill bottle burning a hole in my jacket pocket. "Dad?" Lily's voice was quiet from the back seat. "Yeah, sweetie? You're not taking me to the dentist, are you?" Smart kid. Too smart. "No, baby. I'm taking you somewhere better, somewhere safe." She didn't ask any more questions, just looked out the window at the Chicago streets passing by, and I wondered what she was thinking, what she already knew that she wasn't saying. Northwestern Memorial's pediatric wing was on the 3rd floor, all bright colors and murals of cartoon animals that were supposed to make kids feel less scared. It didn't work. Lily held my hand tight as we walked down the corridor, her palms sweaty against mine. Dr. Sarah Mitchell met us in examination room 4. She was in her early 40s, gray hair pulled back in a practical bun, sharp, intelligent eyes that took in everything. She shook my hand firmly, then knelt down to Lily's level. "Hi, Lily. I'm Dr. Mitchell. Your dad told me you haven't been feeling so great lately. Can you tell me about it?" Lily glanced at me. I nodded encouragement. "I'm tired all the time," Lily said quietly. "And when I wake up, I feel confused, like I can't remember things right." "How long has this been happening?" 2 weeks, maybe. I'm not sure." Dr. Mitchell pulled out a small flashlight. "I'm just going to check your eyes, okay? Look at my finger." She moved her finger back and forth, watching Lily's pupils. "Any headaches?" "Sometimes." "Dizzy?" "Yeah." Dr. Mitchell straightened and turned to me. "Mr. James, you mentioned on the phone that she's been taking pills." I pulled the bottle from my jacket pocket and handed it to her. She examined it carefully, her jaw tightening as she read the label. "Daily vitamins." She opened it, shook one pill into her palm. "These aren't labeled with any brand or dosage information. Who gave these to your daughter?" "Her mother, my wife." The words felt heavy. "She said they were vitamins to help Lily focus at school." Dr. Mitchell's expression darkened. Mr. James, vitamins don't typically cause drowsiness and confusion. We need to run a toxicology screen immediately. Is that like a blood test? Lily asked, her voice small. Yes, honey. We need to see what's in your body. It might pinch a little bit, but you seem like a brave girl. Lily looked at me, and I saw the fear in her eyes. I'll be right there with you, I said. The whole time. 20 minutes later, I stood outside the lab room, watching through the window as a nurse drew blood from Lily's arm. My daughter sat perfectly still, looking away from the needle, biting her lip. She didn't cry, didn't complain, just endured it with a quiet strength that broke my heart. When it was done, the nurse put a Finding Nemo Band-Aid on Lily's arm and gave her a lollipop. Lily took it with a small smile. You did great, sweetheart, I said, hugging her. Results will take about 45 minutes, Dr. Mitchell said. There's a waiting room down the hall with books and toys if Lily wants to rest. 45 minutes felt like 45 hours. We sat in the waiting room, Lily curled up on a chair with a book she wasn't reading. I pretended to check emails on my phone but couldn't focus on anything except the clock on the wall. What was in those pills? And why hadn't Jessica told me she was giving them to Lily? At 10:17, Dr. Mitchell appeared in the doorway. Mr. James, can I speak with you for a moment? Her tone made my stomach drop. I looked at Lily. I'll be right back, okay? She nodded, already half asleep in the chair. I followed Dr. Mitchell into a small consultation room. She closed the door and sat down across from me with a printout in her hands. Her face was grim. Mr. James, your daughter has diphenhydramine in her system, high levels. What's that? It's an antihistamine, the active ingredient in adult sleep aids like Benadryl P or Tylenol PM. We also found traces of melatonin. She looked at me directly. Someone has been giving your daughter adult-strength sedatives. The room tilted. I gripped the edge of the desk to steady myself. In children Lily's age, Dr. Mitchell continued, her voice controlled but concerned. These medications in these doses cause severe drowsiness, confusion, memory problems. With repeated use over time, she paused. There's potential for cognitive damage, possibly permanent. Permanent, I repeated numbly. The brain is still developing at age 10. Introducing powerful sedatives repeatedly can affect neural pathways, memory formation, concentration ability. She leaned forward. Mr. James, where did your daughter get these pills? From her mother? My voice sounded hollow. My wife, Jessica. She told Lily they were vitamins. Dr. Mitchell set down her pen very carefully. Mr. James, I need to ask you some questions about your home situation. Has your wife been under unusual stress lately? She works a lot. Marketing director for a consulting firm, but she's always worked a lot. Any changes in this past few months? New job demands, financial pressure, relationship issues? I thought about Jessica checking her phone constantly. The text this morning with the winking emoji, the way she'd seemed distracted, distant. I don't know, I said honestly. I travel for work sometimes. Maybe I haven't been paying close enough attention. Has Lily mentioned anything about why her mother started giving her these pills? She said Jessica told her they'd help her focus at school, help her rest. Dr. Mitchell's expression shifted into something harder, professional concern crystallizing into alarm. Mr. James, I'm going to be very direct with you. In my medical opinion, there is no legitimate therapeutic reason to give a healthy 10-year-old girl adult sleep medication without a doctor's prescription or supervision. None. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to document everything. Keep that pill bottle. Keep these test results. And you need to seriously consider what might be happening in your home when you're not there. My throat was so dry I could barely speak. You think Jessica is hurting Lily on purpose? I don't know your wife, so I can't speak to intent, but the result is the same either way. Your daughter is being given potentially dangerous medication without medical justification. She handed me the printout. I'm recommending immediate cessation of these pills. Lily should not take any more. And Mr. James? Her eyes were kind but firm. Protect your daughter, whatever that takes. I drove home in silence, Lily asleep in the back seat, exhausted from the blood draw and the medication still in her system. Every few minutes I glanced at her in the rearview mirror, watching her chest rise and fall. Cognitive damage, possibly permanent. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Why? That's what I couldn't understand. Why would Jessica do this? We had a good marriage, didn't we? Sure, we'd grown apart a little over the years. Work stress, raising a kid, the usual erosion of time. But this? I thought about that text this morning. See you later? With a winking emoji. My stomach turned. No, I wasn't going to jump to conclusions. There had to be an explanation. Maybe Jessica genuinely thought she was helping. Maybe she read something online about sleep and focus and made a terrible mistake. But Dr. Mitchell's words echoed. No legitimate therapeutic reason. I needed to know the truth. Not speculation, not suspicion, truth. I pulled into a Best Buy parking lot in Lincoln Park. Lily stirred as I cut the engine. Dad, where are we? Just need to grab something, sweetheart. You want to come in or wait here? Wait here. She was already closing her eyes again. I locked the car and went inside. The fluorescent lights were harsh after the gray October afternoon. A young employee with a name tag reading Tyler Brooks approached me near the entrance. Can I help you find something, sir? Security cameras, I said. Something discreet. For home monitoring. Tyler's eyebrows rose slightly, but he nodded and led me to a display wall. We've got several options. What are you looking for specifically? Something that doesn't look like a camera, something I can set up easily. Okay. He pointed to a device that looked like a phone charger. This is our most popular model, plugs into any standard outlet, live streams to an app on your phone, clear audio, 1080p video. You can access the feed from anywhere. Battery backup? 6 hours if the power goes out. I'll take 2. Tyler rang me up and I paid cash. As he bagged the cameras, he gave me a look that was probably meant to be friendly, but came out knowing. Big brother watching, huh? I forced a smile that felt like plastic. Just home security. Sure, man, whatever you need. Back in the car, Lily was fully asleep now, her head against the window. I sat there for a moment, the Best Buy bag in my lap, feeling like I was about to cross a line I couldn't uncross, spying on my wife, recording her in our home without her knowledge. But what choice did I have? Dr. Mitchell was right. I needed to protect Lily, and I couldn't protect her if I didn't know what was happening. I started the car and drove to Oak Park. Patricia Morrison's house was a neat bungalow with flower boxes under the windows, the kind of place that looked like it came from a different era. She opened the door with a warm smile that faltered when she saw my face. David? And my sweet Lily. What a lovely surprise. She looked between us. Is everything all right? Hi, Patricia. I hate to ask last minute, but Jessica and I need to do some repairs this weekend. Lots of dust and noise, maybe some fumes from paint. Could Lily stay with you for a few days? Patricia's face brightened immediately. Of course. We'll bake cookies and watch movies. It'll be wonderful. Lily looked up at me, confused. Why can't I stay home, Dad? I knelt to meet her eyes. I need to fix some things, honey. Important things. You'll have more fun here with Grandma Patricia. Trust me, okay? She studied my face for a long moment, and I wondered what she saw there. Then she nodded slowly. Okay. That's my girl. I hugged her tight, breathing in the strawberry scent of her shampoo. I love you so much. I love you too, Dad. Patricia took Lily's hand. Come on, sweetheart. Let's get you settled. I've got fresh chocolate chips for cookies. As they disappeared into the house, Lily looked back at me once. Something in her expression told me she knew this wasn't really about house repairs, that she understood, on some level, I was trying to protect her from something. I waved, forced another smile, and drove away before I could second-guess myself. The house felt different when I walked in alone. Empty. Cold. The afternoon light coming through the windows seemed wrong somehow, like it was exposing things I'd never noticed before. I stood in the living room, looking at the gray sectional where Lily did her homework, the coffee table with Jessica's design magazines, the framed photos on the mantel. Our wedding, Lily's first birthday, the trip to Michigan 2 summers ago, 13 years of marriage. Was it all built on lies? I shook my head. Focus. I needed to focus. I unplugged the lamp beside the sofa and replaced it with the camera charger. It fit perfectly into the outlet, looking exactly like what it was supposed to be, a phone charger. I angled it slightly to capture the sofa in the front hallway. Then I opened the app on my phone. The live stream flickered on immediately. crystal clear picture, every detail sharp. I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. I walked across the room, testing the frame. The camera caught everything. The second camera went in the kitchen, hidden inside a decorative clock I hung on the wall facing the breakfast nook and back door. When I was done, I sat in my car in the driveway staring at my phone. 2 camera feeds, both showing empty rooms in the house I'd lived in for 8 years. A text came through from Jessica. "Where are you? Thought you'd be back by now." I typed back, "Dropped Lily at your mom's. Needed some alone time to work on a project. Home in an hour." "Okay, want me to pick up dinner?" "Sure, that'd be great." I put the phone down and pressed my palms against my eyes. What was I doing? This was my wife, the woman I'd promised to love and trust forever, and here I was setting up surveillance cameras like she was a criminal. But she'd been drugging our daughter. That was a fact. The only question was, why a doctor? Mitchell's question echoed, what might be happening in your home when you're not there? I needed to know. I pulled out of the driveway and drove to a coffee shop 3 blocks away where I could watch the camera feeds without Jessica knowing I was nearby. Let's see what happens when I'm not home, Jessica. Let's see who you really are. Monday morning, 7:15. I stood in the foyer with my briefcase, car keys in hand. Jessica came down the stairs, still in her bathrobe, her hair damp from the shower. "Have a good day, honey." She kissed my cheek, and I caught a whiff of her perfume, the expensive one, the one she usually saved for special occasions. "You too? Working from home again?" "Yeah, I've got that big presentation to finish. Probably won't even change out of pajamas." She smiled, but she was already wearing perfume, and her makeup was done, subtle but carefully applied. "Love you," she said. "Love you too." The lie tasted like metal in my mouth. I got in my car and drove 2 blocks before turning into the coffee shop parking lot. Found a spot in the back corner where I could see the street but couldn't be seen. Then I pulled out my phone and opened the camera app. The living room feed showed Jessica moving around, coffee mug in hand. She sat on the couch, opened her laptop, checked her phone. Normal. Everything looked completely normal. At 8:30, she got up and disappeared off screen. When she came back 10 minutes later, she'd changed. Gone was the bathrobe. Now she wore dark jeans and a fitted black sweater that hugged her figure. Her hair was styled, falling in soft waves around her face. She checked her reflection in the hallway mirror, adjusting her necklace. My chest tightened. That wasn't what you wore to work from home alone. The morning crawled by. I watched her work, make phone calls, type on her laptop. At 10:30, her phone rang. She answered with a smile I could see even through the camera feed. "Hey," she said, her voice warm. "Yeah, still on for later?" "Perfect. I can't wait either." She laughed at something the person on the other end said, a laugh I hadn't heard in months. Bright, flirtatious, young. My hands were shaking. At 11:45, the doorbell rang. Jessica jumped up from the couch like she'd been electrocuted. She rushed to the hallway mirror, checked her hair, her makeup, her outfit, smoothed her sweater down, took a deep breath. Then she opened the door. A man stepped inside. Tall, mid-30s, dark hair styled with that casual messiness that took effort, good-looking in that smooth, confident way. He wore a leather jacket over a white t-shirt and jeans. I zoomed in on my phone screen, and recognition hit me like a physical blow. Brett Sullivan. I remembered him now. Jessica's company holiday party last December. She'd introduced us by the bar, her hand on his arm. "David, this is Brett Sullivan, one of our new associates. He's brilliant. Just landed the Henderson account single-handedly." She'd been glowing when she said it. I'd thought she was just proud of her team. Brett had shaken my hand, smiled with perfect white teeth. "Your wife's been an amazing mentor. She's teaching me everything." We'd chatted about football for 5 minutes, and then someone had pulled Jessica away for photos. That was 8 months ago. Now I watched Brett step into my house, watched my wife close the door behind him, watched her lean in for a hug that lasted too long, her arms around his neck, his hands on her waist. Not a colleague hug, not a friendly hug, an intimate hug. They moved to the couch. Jessica disappeared off screen, toward the kitchen, I assumed, and returned with 2 wine glasses and a bottle of red wine. It was barely noon on a Monday. She poured. They clinked glasses. Brett said something I couldn't quite hear through the audio, gesturing with his hands. Jessica threw her head back, laughing, that same bright laugh from the phone call. Brett reached out and put his hand on her knee. He left it there. I couldn't breathe. My vision tunneled, everything going dark at the edges except for that screen, that hand on my wife's knee. Jessica didn't move his hand away. Instead, she leaned toward him, saying something low, intimate. Then Brett leaned in and kissed her. For one frozen second, I thought she'd push him away, thought this was some terrible misunderstanding, but she didn't push him away. She kissed him back. Her hand came up to his face, his arms wrapped around her. They melted into each other like they'd done this 1,000 times before. My wife. The woman I'd loved for 13 years, the mother of my child, kissing another man in our living room on our couch where our daughter did her homework. I tapped the screen. The feed went black. I couldn't watch anymore. I leaned my head against the steering wheel, gasping for air like someone was choking me. My hands were shaking so badly I had to clench them into fists to make them stop. 13 years. Late nights walking the floors with baby Lily, taking turns when she wouldn't stop crying, family vacations to Michigan, building sandcastles on the beach, Christmas mornings watching Lily's face light up, the way Jessica used to curl against me in bed, her head on my chest, whispering about her dreams for our future. All of it, every memory, every moment, every promise we'd made, built on lies. My phone buzzed, a text from Jessica. "How's work going? Miss you?" I stared at it until the screen went dark. Then I opened the camera app again and hit record on both feeds. If I was going to protect Lily, I needed evidence, all of it. I watched the camera feeds every day for the next week, built a pattern, documented everything. Tuesday. Brett arrived at 1:00 p.m., 2 hours after I'd texted Jessica saying I'd be working late. They drank wine. They kissed. They disappeared into the hallway toward the stairs. The bedroom. I didn't follow that feed. Wednesday. Jessica gave Lily a pill at 8:00 a.m. before school. I watched through the kitchen camera as my daughter swallowed it obediently, trusting her mother. By 9:00 a.m., after I'd left for work, Brett was at the door. Thursday. Lily came home from school at 3:30. Jessica gave her another pill. "Here, sweetie, you look tired. This will help you rest." 20 minutes later, Lily was asleep on the couch. At 4:15, Brett's car pulled into the driveway. I saved everything, uploaded the videos to an encrypted cloud drive, backed them up on 2 separate USB drives that I kept in my car's glove compartment. Evidence, cold digital proof of what my marriage had become. I also dug deeper into our finances. The joint account we had opened the week after our wedding, the one we'd always shared openly. Cash withdrawals jumped out first, $500 here, $800 there, sometimes $1,000 at once, always on days Jessica said she was working late or meeting clients. I added them up 3 times, not wanting to believe the total. $8,500 in 6 months. Then I found the receipts in the filing cabinet in our home office, tucked in folders labeled work expenses. The Langham Chicago, boutique hotel downtown, $400 a night, 3 separate stays in the past 4 months, restaurant receipts from Gibson's Bar and Steakhouse, RPM Italian, places I'd always wanted to take Jessica for our anniversary, but she'd said were too expensive for our budget, apparently not too expensive for Brett. And then, at the bottom of a drawer, a credit card statement for an account I didn't know existed, Jessica's name only. Recent charges, student loan payment, $450, car payment, $320, both in Brett Sullivan's name. I sat there for a long time, staring at that statement. She wasn't just having an affair. She was supporting him financially. With our money. Money we'd been saving for Lily's college fund. My phone buzzed. Jessica. "Working late tonight. Client dinner. Don't wait up. Love you." I checked the camera feed. She was in our bedroom trying on dresses. The red one, the black one. She settled on the black, the one with the low neckline I'd bought her for our 10th anniversary. She was meeting Brett, not a client. I was done waiting, done watching, done letting this happen in my house, to my family, to my daughter. It was time to end this. Monday morning, I called Patricia Morrison. "Patricia, it's David." "David, hello. How are you? How's my Lily?" "She's good. She's at school." I paused, choosing my words carefully. "Patricia, I need to ask you something. Can you come over this Thursday afternoon, around 1:30? There was a pause. "Of course." "Is everything all right, David? You sound tense." "Everything will be explained, but Patricia, don't tell Jessica I called. Don't mention this to her at all." "David, you're worrying me." "I know, I'm sorry, but please trust me. This is important. for Lily. She was quiet for a moment. All right, I'll be there Thursday at 1:30, but David, if something's wrong... Thursday, I said gently. I'll explain everything Thursday. After I hung up, I sat at my desk at work, unable to focus on the architectural plans in front of me. My hands were steady, but my mind was racing. Thursday. 3 days away. I called Rebecca Hayes next, the divorce attorney whose name I'd gotten from a colleague who'd been through his own messy divorce. Hayes Family Law. My name is David James. I need to file for divorce. It's complicated. Can you come in tomorrow, 3:00 p.m.? Yes. Rebecca Hayes's office was downtown in one of those glass towers that reflected the Chicago skyline. Her office was on the 32nd floor, all dark wood and leather chairs. Professional, serious. She was in her mid-50s with silver hair cut in a sharp bob and eyes that looked like they'd seen everything. Mr. James? She shook my hand firmly. Tell me everything. So I did. I showed her the medical records from Dr. Mitchell, Lily's blood test results showing diphenhydramine and melatonin. I showed her the pill bottle with Jessica's handwriting. I showed her the videos on my phone, Jessica giving Lily pills, Brett arriving after Lily fell asleep, the affair unfolding in our living room. I showed her the bank statements, the cash withdrawals, the hotel receipts, the credit card statement with Brett's loan payments. Rebecca watched it all without expression. When I finished, she sat back in her chair and folded her hands. Mr. James, this is serious, very serious. You understand that what your wife did, drugging your daughter, that's a felony, child endangerment under Illinois law. I know, but... She held up a hand. Prosecution would have to prove Jessica knew the pills were harmful. She could argue she thought they were safe, that she was trying to help Lily sleep better for school. My chest tightened. So she might get away with it? For custody purposes, you have an airtight case. The medical evidence, the videos, the pattern of behavior. Any judge will grant you full custody. But criminal charges? She shook her head slightly. Those are harder. And if we pursue them aggressively, Jessica could be arrested. Lily would have to testify. It would be traumatic. I thought about Lily's face, how pale and tired she'd looked, how she'd trembled when she told me about the pills. What do you recommend? Document everything. Continue monitoring until Thursday. Then we confront her in a controlled environment with your mother-in-law as witness. Get Jessica to admit why she gave Lily those pills. Record it if possible, but be careful. Illinois requires two-party consent for recording, so Patricia would need to consent. And then? We file for divorce immediately. Use the evidence to negotiate custody. If Jessica fights us, we have everything we need. If she cooperates... Rebecca leaned forward. Mr. James, I can't tell you what to do. But as someone who's seen a lot of these cases, sometimes the threat of criminal prosecution is more effective than actually pursuing it, especially when children are involved. I don't want to destroy her, I heard myself say. She's still Lily's mother. Your job is to protect your daughter. Jessica made her choices. I signed the preliminary divorce papers right there in Rebecca's office. My hand didn't shake. Not anymore. This was for Lily. Thursday morning, I drove Lily to school like always. When we pulled up to the drop-off circle, I reached over and hugged her tightly. Dad? Her voice was small against my shoulder. Are you okay? You look sad. I forced a smile. Good. I'm okay, sweetheart. Daddy just has something important to handle today. Is it about the vitamins? My throat tightened. Yeah, baby. I'm making sure you're safe. That's all. I love you so much. I know. She hugged me back. I love you too, Dad. I watched her run toward the building, her backpack bouncing on her shoulders. She turned at the door to wave, and I waved back, my heart breaking. Then I called Jessica. Hey, honey, I have an important client meeting in Oak Park this afternoon. Might run long. I'll be back around 5. Oh, okay. She sounded pleased, almost excited. I'm working from home today anyway. Take your time. Thanks. See you tonight. I hung up and checked the camera feed. Jessica was already getting ready, showering, doing her makeup, picking out clothes. At 1:15, I pulled up outside Patricia's house. She was waiting on the porch, wearing a soft blue cardigan and carrying her purse. Her face was tight with worry. David, what's going on? Where's Lily? You said I'd see her. She's at school, safe. I opened the passenger door for her. Patricia, what you're about to see, it's going to be difficult, but I need you to witness it. I need you to see the truth. Truth about what? Her voice rose. David, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry. I pulled out of her driveway. Jessica has been having an affair, and she's been drugging Lily to hide it. Patricia's hand flew to her mouth. No, Jessica wouldn't. She has been, for months. I kept my voice steady. I have proof, medical proof, video proof, everything. Patricia started crying silently, tears streaming down her face. She didn't say another word during the drive. At 1:55, we pulled into my driveway. I cut the engine and turned to Patricia. Are you ready? She wiped her eyes and nodded, her jaw set with something hard. Determination, maybe, or anger. We got out of the car quietly. I unlocked the front door as silently as possible. Inside, I could hear them. Voices from the living room. Laughter. Jessica's voice, light and happy. I've missed you so much. This week felt like forever. Brett's voice, lower. I know, but we have all afternoon now. Patricia's breath caught. I stepped into the living room doorway, Patricia right behind me. Jessica was on the couch in Brett's arms, his lips on her neck, her hands in his hair, wine glasses on the coffee table, her shoes on the floor, his leather jacket thrown over the armchair. Behind me, Patricia gasped loudly. Jessica's head snapped toward the door. Her face went from relaxed to shocked to horrified in the space of a heartbeat. Mom? What are you, David? She shoved Brett away, scrambling to straighten her sweater, her hair. Brett stood up, panic flooding his face. Mr. James, this isn't— Get out of my house. My voice was ice. Now. Look, I can explain. I took a step toward him. I said get out. Brett grabbed his jacket from the chair, fumbling for his keys in his pocket. He didn't even look at Jessica, just ran for the door like the coward he was. The door slammed shut behind him. Silence. Patricia stood frozen, one hand pressed to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. She stared at her daughter like she was looking at a stranger. Audrey, Patricia's voice broke on the name. My daughter, how could you? Mom, please, Jessica's voice cracked. Let me explain. It's not— Explain? I cut her off. Explain what, Jessica? The affair or drugging our daughter? Jessica froze. What? I pulled out my phone, connected it to our TV with the casting app I'd set up earlier. The screen came to life with video footage, Jessica watching herself give Lily a pill. Here, sweetie, take your vitamin. It'll help you rest. Lily swallowing it obediently. 20 minutes later, Lily asleep on the couch, then Brett arriving, the doorbell. Jessica checking her reflection, opening the door, kissing him. Jessica watched her own actions play out on the screen, and I watched her face drain of all color. I know everything, I said quietly. The sleeping pills you've been giving Lily. Dr. Mitchell said they could cause permanent brain damage, Jessica. Permanent. And I know why you did it. Patricia made a sound like she'd been struck. Jessica, you drugged Lily, your own daughter? I never meant to hurt her. Jessica's voice rose, desperate. They were just sleep aids. She needed rest. She was so stressed from school. She was stressed because of the drugs you were pumping into her. I couldn't keep the anger out of my voice now. You weren't helping her rest, Jessica. You were knocking her unconscious so she wouldn't wake up while you were with him. That's not— Jessica stopped, her face crumbling as she realized what she'd almost admitted. Patricia's voice cut through like a knife. Is that true? Did you drug my granddaughter so you could sleep with that man? Jessica looked at her mother, then at me, then back at her mother. Her lips trembled. I couldn't— She almost caught us once. She came downstairs and— She stopped, covered her mouth with her hand. But it was too late. How long? I asked. How long have you been doing this to her? I don't know, 5 months? 6? Jessica was crying now, mascara running down her face. But I didn't know the pills were dangerous. I thought they were safe. The bottle said non-habit forming. The bottle said adult strength. My voice echoed through the room. You gave our 10-year-old daughter adult sleeping pills, Jessica, without a doctor, without telling me, because you were having an affair. Patricia walked slowly toward Jessica, her face a mask of pain and anger. Jessica Lynn Morrison, I raised you better than this. Mom, Jessica reached for her mother's hand. Patricia stepped back. Don't touch me. You put your affair above your daughter's health, above her safety, above everything. I love Lily. I would never— But you did. Patricia's voice was cold, final. You did this. To your own child. I pulled the divorce papers from my jacket pocket and set them on the coffee table. I'm filing for divorce, Jessica. I want full custody of Lily. No! Jessica jumped up. You can't take her from me. She's my daughter. She's our daughter, I said, and you endangered her. For this, for him. Mom, please. Jessica turned to Patricia, desperate. Tell him I made a mistake. Tell him I'll testify for David in court. Patricia's words fell like stones. Jessica stared at her mother, betrayed, broken. Mom? You did this to yourself, Jessica, and I won't let you hurt Lily anymore. Patricia walked to the door, then paused. I'm ashamed of you. I thought I raised a better person than this. She walked out. I followed her, leaving Jessica sobbing on the couch. 6 weeks later, I sat in Cook County Family Court, Cook County Courthouse, Rebecca Hayes beside me, the December morning cold and gray outside the tall windows. Across the aisle, Jessica sat with her court-appointed attorney, a tired-looking man named Dennis Chen, who'd been assigned when Jessica couldn't afford to hire anyone better. She'd lost her job 2 weeks after the confrontation. The company had let her go quietly when Brett filed a complaint about workplace harassment, claiming Jessica had pursued him. The irony wasn't lost on me. Jessica looked different. Thinner, her face gaunt. Her hair hung limp around her shoulders, no style, no shine. Dark circles under her eyes that no amount of makeup could hide, not that she was wearing much. Just some foundation and lip gloss, applied carelessly. She wouldn't look at me. Judge William Hartley entered. 60-something, silver hair, stern face that had probably seen 1,000 cases just like this one. He sat down, adjusted his reading glasses, and opened the file. This is a dissolution of marriage hearing, he said in a voice that expected no arguments. Petitioner David James is seeking full custody of the minor child, Lily James, age 10. Mrs. James is contesting the custody arrangement. Rebecca stood, straightening her blazer. Your Honor, if I may present the evidence. She was methodical, clinical. She presented Dr. Mitchell's medical reports first, the blood tests showing diphenhydramine and melatonin in Lily's system, the doctor's written opinion about the dangers of these medications in children, the potential for cognitive damage. Then the pill bottle, sealed in an evidence bag, Jessica's handwriting clear on the label, daily vitamins, take with breakfast. Then the videos, not the affair footage. Rebecca had been clear that wasn't relevant to custody, just Jessica giving Lily the pills, the timestamp showing the pattern, Lily falling asleep, the repeated instances over weeks. Judge Hartley watched it all without expression. Dennis Chen, Jessica's attorney, looked defeated before he even stood up. Your Honor, my client admits to giving her daughter sleep aids without proper medical consultation. However, she believed she was helping Lily manage stress from school. She had no intention of causing harm. Intention isn't relevant when a child is endangered, Rebecca said quietly. The medical evidence shows clear harm. Dr. Mitchell testified next, explaining the dangers of diphenhydramine in children. She was professional, unemotional, devastating. In my medical opinion, the repeated administration of these medications to a child of Lily's age constitutes child endangerment. Then, Patricia took the stand. She wore a navy dress, her gray hair neat, her face composed, but I could see her hands shaking slightly as she placed them on the witness stand rail. Mrs. Morrison, Rebecca said gently, what did you witness on October 27th at your daughter's home? Patricia took a breath. I witnessed my daughter engaged in an affair with a man named Brett Sullivan. I also learned that day that she had been giving my granddaughter sleeping pills to prevent Lily from discovering the affair. And what was your reaction? I was horrified. Patricia's voice cracked. I love my daughter, but my first responsibility is to protect my granddaughter. What Jessica did was inexcusable. Do you support Mr. James's petition for full custody? I do. Completely. Jessica made a small sound, half sob, half gasp. Her mother didn't look at her. Dennis Chen didn't cross-examine. What could he say? Finally, Jessica took the stand. She looked small sitting there, diminished. Mrs. James, Dennis Chen said, can you explain why you gave Lily the sleeping medication? I thought I was helping her. Jessica's voice was barely above a whisper. She seemed stressed. She was having trouble sleeping. I thought the pills would help her rest better so she could focus at school. Did you know they were dangerous? No, I didn't read. I should have, but I didn't. I made a terrible mistake. Judge Hartley leaned forward. Mrs. James, the bottle clearly states adult strength. You gave your 10-year-old daughter medication meant for adults, without consulting a physician, without informing your husband. Why? Jessica was silent for a long moment. Then, quietly, because I was having an affair, and I didn't want Lily to find out. The courtroom went very still. So you sedated your daughter, the judge said, to facilitate your extramarital relationship. I didn't think of it that way. I wasn't trying to... Jessica broke down. I know what I did. I'm so sorry. I love my daughter. I would never intentionally hurt her. But you did hurt her, Judge Hartley said. Intentionally or not, the result is the same. He reviewed his notes for what felt like an eternity. Then he spoke. The marriage between David and Jessica James is hereby dissolved. Mr. David James is awarded primary physical and legal custody of Lily James. Mrs. Jessica James will have supervised visitation rights twice monthly, 2 hours each session at a court-approved facility. Jessica sobbed into her hands. After 6 months, the judge continued, Mrs. James may petition for a review of visitation rights, provided she completes court-ordered parenting classes and therapy and submits to random drug testing. Your Honor, Dennis Chen tried to interject. I'm not finished. Judge Hartley's voice was firm. Marital assets will be divided 60-40 in Mr. James's favor due to dissipation of marital funds. Mrs. James will pay $8,500 in restitution, plus child support as determined by Illinois guidelines. He looked directly at Jessica. Mrs. James, you're fortunate that Mr. James isn't pressing criminal charges. I strongly suggest you use this opportunity to get the help you need. Court is adjourned. The gavel came down. It was over. Jessica whispered something to her attorney, then looked across the aisle at me for the first time. Her eyes were red, her face streaked with tears. David, she said, her voice breaking. Please, tell Lily. Tell her Mommy loves her. Tell her I'm sorry. I looked at this woman I'd loved for 13 years, this stranger who'd endangered our daughter, and felt nothing but emptiness. You can tell her yourself, I said quietly. At your supervised visits. I stood and walked out of the courtroom, Rebecca beside me. Behind me, I heard Jessica collapse into sobs, but I didn't look back.